Folks, welcome back. I go into the details of some of the stories here, and the very first story I'm picking here says, Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Bagbin, has charged some Ethiopian MPs to disregard the negative aspects of the country's democracy and take only the best with them back to their country. According to the Speaker, even though Ghana's democracy has been widely celebrated, there exist some bad practices that are not worth emulating, especially given the struggle of Ethiopia to adopt full democracy. A delegation from the Ethiopian Parliament is in Ghana to study the country's democracy. The Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, described the current system of having only two major political parties in Parliament as duopoly instead of a multi-party system of democracy, making it difficult for any other party to win election, to form a government, or have even a representation in Parliament. He said this kind of duopoly system has changed the Ghanaian system, where the two bigger parties, the MPP and the NDC, are influencing the electorate with money to win elections, making it very difficult for the other smaller parties to do same. And such monetization practices in our elections must be discouraged in order to give a fair ground to all parties. The story continues. It says, the Right Honourable Speaker added that being in opposition does not mean you are to obstruct government business, as he, the Speaker coming from the opposition party, would not engage in such a behaviour or act, since all what they do in Parliament is for the interest of Ghanaians, but not for their parties. I repeat that. Since all what they do in Parliament is for the interest of Ghanaians and not their individual parties. Let me continue. He further said he has assured the MPP government led by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that he will do anything not to obstruct the business of Parliament by remaining neutral in processing government business on the floor of Parliament to a successful end. Mr. Bagbin made all these comments when a delegation from the Ethiopian Parliament paid a courtesy call on the Speaker and the Parliament of Ghana to learn how Ghana has been able to grow and maintain its democracy in order to emulate same in Ethiopia, as they also hit the way of democracy. So the story is very simple. What is happening is Ethiopia wants to go they want to practice a fully blown democracy. Now they've heard of the Ghanaian democracy. We have said Ghana's democracy is the beacon of hope for Africa and all of the mantras we touted Ghana's democracy with. So Ethiopia decided that, well, if we want to democratize, we want to go to Ghana and learn a thing or two from the Ghanaian democracy. So they chose the Parliament of Ghana as one of the arms of government, one of the very important arms of government, to come and understudy. So it's like an internship or attachment. And then the Speaker of Parliament is saying that, hey, you know what? I mean, yes, we have our democracy, but we have our SSs, and so ignore our SSs and practice the good things you see. And I am wondering, how are they going to ignore the SSs? I mean, you're coming to study, and studying includes the things you tell people and the things they observe themselves. That is what you study. If you're in a classroom and a teacher is teaching you, the teaching processes or the teaching engagement would include what the teacher is saying to you and what you yourself has been observing over the period. Indeed, people teach the way they were taught, and that has been proven time and again. People teach the way they were taught, and if the way they were taught includes what the teacher tells you and what you have observed, then it becomes very difficult for you to detach what you have observed from what you were told. And that's the point. So I am wondering how the Ethiopian members of Parliament who came here to understudy our democracy would say then that they are going to ignore the SSs, because they will see the benefits of the SSs of your democracy. The benefit is that, one, members of Parliament to get car loans surcharged on the consolidated fund, 60% of it borne by me and you. And if that will benefit the politician, they will go and replicate it. Another thing is that the Speaker of Parliament is paradoxically saying today that all what they do in parliament is to protect the interest of the Ghanaian and not their parochial interest. And you saw, I mean, when I read that, what came to mind is that Aki and Popo, I don't know if that's Popo, that image that they, they have a certain image of him that goes around, and that's like her. What are you talking about? That's what came to mind. So this is a very important, call on members of parliament. I mean, in all this while, no one comes here to say they want to understudy so we could afford to do all of the wrong things and the so-called excesses because of our parochial interests and the benefit of the individual politician. Now you have people come to understudy you and you say, hey, what we have been saying about Ghana's democracy, that it is the beacon of hope for Africa and it is the perfect democracy here in Ghana. It's not the case. So we have some excesses. So if you go, just concentrate on the positive ones. We must be joking.
I think actually what would have been real or realistic would be that you let them know the excesses first and how you have been able to tackle
the excesses. That is if you have been able to tackle them.
Exactly. At least give them some idea of how real it is. Because if you give them the positive, it's going to be like, oh, this is a fairy tale. No problem. It's just. And so when they find themselves in trouble or anything they didn't foresee coming in, the whole process comes back to square one. So let them know these are the things you go through because you are a democratic country. And so they should also look at the social-cultural orientation of the people in their country and shape the various democratic values to fit those things. And even their political history. All those things should inform the type of democratic government or governance they want to undertake. So the excesses are important, actually. And my problem is that you don't have to forget it. At least let them know you are working on it, unless, of course, you are not working on it. That narrative of forget it and concentrate on the positive, it doesn't really work like that. It's as though we also have forgotten the negatives and we are only concentrating on the positives. So
Sandra,
that is why
in the house where there are only blind people, the one-eyed is the king. In a country where there are only blind people, the one-eyed is the king. So the point here is that we tout ourselves as the beacon of democracy in Africa, purely because the African continent itself has a big problem. Otherwise, the thing we see here, we call it democracy, is abstract. We limit it to just elections and change of government. That's all. But the democracy, the understanding of democracy has been evolving over the period. And embedded in the understanding and the concept of democracy is the fact that the people's livelihood must be protected. The people's livelihood must be uplifted. There should be growth and development within the context of democracy. And that a democracy that does not bring hope to the people, a democracy that keeps your people hungry, a democracy that limits, enjoyment of the public purse to only a few people, Article 71 holders. That particular democracy is not a democracy. In other words, it is a scam. It is a fake democracy. And this is the reality we need to face. So if you were, think about it. If we lift Ghana now and put in the European continent, or the American continent, would it still be the beacon of hope of democracy and all of the mantra we touted with? Our democracy is only limited to have elections, change government, and then there is peace, and that is democracy. We must be joking. And the youth of this country must wake up and start redefining the kind of democracy they want. The democracy that makes you lose hope in the system. The democracy that makes you feel that being a Ghanaian is not worth it. And people would tell you on authority that if they are given the opportunity to be trees in Europe, they would prefer it over being human beings in Ghana. And I've heard people say this, that if I would be a tree in Europe, because a tree in Europe, an inanimate thing like a tree in Europe, is even more protected than the human being in Ghana. So you are better off being a tree in Europe. You are better off being water in Europe. And that is the point. And so if we don't redefine democracy, and the definition of democracy for the average Ghanaian politician is that, oh, when we hold election and someone wins, let us let the person come in, let's change hands. After all, after 8 years we'll come back and we'll continue to eat. If that is the definition of democracy, then we have lost it. And that's my point. Then we have lost it. We need democracy, a democracy that gives hope to the youth of Ghana. We need a democracy that, makes Ghana worth dying for. Not many people are patriotic purely because the country doesn't give them what they deserve. And I'll tell you what. I was told this story by a political science lecturer, Dr. Edu. I don't know where he is now. Dr. Edu tells me that in the days when he was a student, all right, in the University of Ghana, when he got to Accra for the first time from his village, it was his village market women, who would tell him to come to Agbogloshi for gari, for yam, and all manner of contributions. And if you get to them, hey, yam and sabanio, hey, university, hey, atisa or university. Now they pack things. Oh, any veggie tomatoes, veggie way, So the village people were contributing to his living in the university system. Now he graduates, he becomes a PhD holder, he becomes a man of influence, and his thinking or his orientation is towards his people in the village and not the nation Ghana, because Ghana did very little in contributing to his education. Think about it. And this is how you can awaken the sense of patriotism in people. You see, so if I am going to school and the burden is on my family, then I finish school thinking of my family and not the state. So whatever I will do to make sure that my family gets back whatever investment they did in me, I will do it. And that is what happens in the average Ghanaian's life. Think about it. The impact is from your friends. They are from your families. They are from the people around you. And so you are obliged to pay back the homage to them and not the state. That is why the average Ghanaian sees himself, first of all, as an Ewe, as a Nutsugah family member, as a Dagati, as an Akan, as all of the tribes we have in Ghana, before as Ghanaian. Talk to the average American, and they are American first of all, before they are, they are from Alabama. They are Americans first of all, before they are from North Carolina. They are Americans first of all, before they are from Mississippi and all of the other places they come from. They are Americans first of all. And they hold up high the flag of America. And the sense of patriotism is instilled in them purely because the state has made efforts in contributing to their livelihoods. But if the opposite is happening in Ghana, do not expect any change. We want a democracy in the hands of politicians that contributes to the future of the youth, that gives some hope to the youth, that makes the youth think of Ghana first of all before any other, secondary grouping. Ghana has become a secondary grouping, and that's it. Unless we get out of this country, no one says I am Ghanaian. I tell you, I'm not Ghanaian, and that's the point. Theophilus, let me let you take a bite on this.
No, so first of all, Ethiopian MPs in Ghana. So first of all, the Ethiopian system is a federal one, which means that the MPs, first of all, even select their president or prime minister. So the House of Representatives, they go for elections and then they select the prime minister to govern the country, which means that for the MPs or for those MPs to come to Ghana to learn democracy, it means they even have to understand the Ghanaian system first of all before they go ahead. In Ghana, we claim we practice a hybrid system. Of course, Parliament has its own functions. The executive also does have theirs and all of that. Now, what is my point? My point is that going beyond elections, that is selecting the members of Parliament and all of that, what does the Parliament or the mere parliamentarian do in Ghana? The parliamentarian is supposed to provide an oversight responsibility over the executive branch of government. That is one thing we know. But the point is that, is this something they do? Or we rather see a coalition government, or a cooperative union, in your words, or we rather see that the Parliament of Ghana is supposed to also perform a representational forum, and that is to say that the MP is the communication link between the constituents and then the government.
Yeah.
And all of these things I'm saying is on the platform of the Parliament of Ghana.
Their own platform.
Their own platform.
Embedded in the Constitution of Ghana.
Exactly. And then the third function is a financial control function where chapter 13 of the 92 Constitution, for example, even vests the control of all public funds in Parliament. We also see that. And fourth, what they do is the deliberative function, where they deliberate over issues and all of that. So taking all of these issues into perspective, what does Parliament of Ghana do? So much so that the Ethiopian people facing their own troubles, that is the unrest in the Tigray region, where they are even trying to battle between the Tigray people, which is sort of now they are now detaching themselves from Ethiopia. Their history, back in their history, the issues they had to face with Eritrea and all of that. And then they are now at this stage coming to learn from Ghana. What exactly are they coming to learn? Is it the deliberative function of Parliament that they are coming to learn? Or the representational function? Or the financial role Parliament is supposed to play? Or the oversight responsibility of Ghana's Parliament on the executive? So it is very unclear what they are actually coming to learn. If it is just the elections, coming to learn about the elections and how democratic it is, I think Ethiopia are doing well in that regard. They should just continue what they are already doing. Because in Ghana, like the Speaker of Parliament already said, it is a duopoly system. It is either the NDC or the NPP. And the political structures or the landscape doesn't even permit for a minor political party to take over. It is seemingly impossible for that to happen, first of all. So what exactly are the members of Parliament from Ethiopia coming to learn in Ghana's system? In the 8th Parliament, we've seen a very wonderful phenomenon that hasn't ever happened before. But, of course, Ghanaians are watching, and a lot of people are already describing this parliament as the worst in the history of the Fourth Republic. So what exactly are they coming to learn? The cooperativeness, so that when they go back, they can cooperate
with the executive arms.
Exactly.
And still from the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even in their system, they elect the president. They practice the federal system, the parliamentary system, where the prime minister is elected
from the members of parliament.
Yeah. Exactly. So what exactly are they coming to learn? And now the Speaker of Parliament is saying they should learn the successes and forget the excesses. My question is, what are the successes? Because your roles are very much outlined. You have not done any. The only thing you do is the deliberative function, where you come and talk about LGBTQI.
But even the deliberative function means that the deliberation should inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian.
Exactly.
Is the deliberation inuring to the benefit of Ghanaians? The question, the answer, your guess is as right as mine.
You get it. So if the Ethiopian people want to even learn Ghana's democracy, they are not even supposed to learn it from the parliamentarians' own perspective. They should even come to we Ghanaians for us to tell them what is happening in our country.